all sports, double coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. Hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the Great Man Sauce, episode 81. How are you, Saucy?
Good, mate. I'm good. We're back again for another episode, another week, another Wednesday. Let's get through this one. What is on the cards, mate? It's been a massive week, first of all. I'll just say that. It's been a massive week in the hobby.
Be so funny.
Obviously, sports is back up and running for 2022. We had the first UFC card of the year. We had the NFL first round of playoffs, which there was probably one or two surprising results in terms of what sort of pummeling on one side of the ball it was. But other than that, the hobby has been on fire. There's been a lot of stuff, a lot of controversy. We'll give our takes on it, of course. We'll definitely give our takes on it. And a lot of laughs, and there could be quite a few flamings. And we potentially might have our first lemon. Who knows? But we're not sure. We might be changing up the way the lemon's done, where we only nominate one per month.
No, it could be. I think there could be multiple on the cards this month, Sauce. But
here we go.
I'll explain it a bit in Hobby Talk. What we plan on doing with it, and more than likely we'll be just handing out Lemon of the month to multiple people, and then they get shortlisted. So we just bunch them all up and then just flame them all at once, and Sauce can just keep dropping lemon every 2 seconds. So that's what we're looking forward to. But yeah, NBA on the cards. Like Sauce said, massive episode when it comes to the Hobby Talk today. Just quick shout out as well, Sauce. We've got Aloisi in the intro. Actually saw him on the peninsula last week. Big John Aloisi. And
did you give a big Aloisi?
I felt like going up to him and just saying, can you recreate your celebration so we can put it as a video file in our intro? Just get topless running down the peninsula.
That'd be great.
That'd be hilarious. All right, Sauce, let's get into it. The NBA. We will go through the standings very quickly, and then we will talk about a few topics in the East. Chicago on top. My boys, the Heat, in second now. Brooklyn in third. Kyrie starting to get some regular minutes. Unfortunately, KD's out for 4 to 6 weeks, I think, with his knee injury. So he's done and dusted there, and it will impact Brooklyn's standings. Cleveland in fourth. Darius Garland is balling out. Milwaukee fifth. Philly sixth. Charlotte seventh. Washington eighth. Toronto ninth. Boston 10th. We'll talk about the Knicks in a moment. They are in 11th, followed by Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit, and Orlando. Over to the West. Phoenix first. Golden State second, Memphis in third. We will talk about them also this episode. Utah, Dallas, Denver, Lakers in seventh. We're going to talk about them also. Clippers in eighth, Minnesota ninth, 10th is Portland. Then we've got Sacramento, San Antonio, New Orleans, Oklahoma, and Houston rounding out the West. And we'll start with your mob, the Lake Show, which is no show at the moment. Sauce, it's a mess. Where to from here? You said something very interesting to me this morning about Frank Vogel. But go for it. Just quick hello to Global. That Lakes entrance. Very nice.
Oh, beautiful. Lovely day to be up at Lakes, mate. Very nice beaches out there. Good fishing too. Yeah, look, Dom, word is apparently Frank Vogel is on a game-by-game tight leash where potentially he could find himself out of a job by not getting things to work. I mean, admittedly, we still have AD out. But other than that, most guys are back. You got Kendrick Nunn, who hasn't played all season, so you can't use that as an excuse. But yeah, look, it's interesting because you watch one game against Denver where we got absolutely pummeled. I think we got done by about 40 points. LeBron tweets after the game, got to be better, Laker Nation, something along those lines. We will be better. Next game come out, they put on an absolute, great performance against Utah. Once again, the third quarter being the letdown, where I thought we'd pretty much given away the game in the third quarter, but we came out in the fourth, played really, really good defense. Stanley Johnson stepped up massively. He's been a big pickup on a 10-day, and I think they've extended his contract, I think, till the end of the season. He's able to, what he gives us is he's able to play the 5 role. And this is, look, one positive out of it is maybe when AD comes back, Stanley Johnson does move to that 5 role and AD stays at the power forward. Stanley Johnson can also shoot the 3, so that allows us to spread the floor. AD can shoot like 12%. So, I mean, I don't know if you call that he can shoot the 3. He's forgotten how to do it. And maybe gives a bit more versatility. But it's too hot and cold. It's too hot and cold where, we get one brilliant defensive performance one game, and then the next game we just are pathetic. Russell Westbrook doing Russell Westbrook things. I mean, in the game against yesterday against Utah, it was funny enough. He pretty much sat on the bench till 3 minutes and 30 to go in the fourth quarter. He started the fourth and then got subbed out. Sat on the bench for a solid 5 minutes. In that time, the Lakers made a run with LeBron, Stanley Johnson, Malik Monk, Trevor Ariza on the floor, and THT. We made a run. We got a bit of a lead. And Russell Westbrook came back in. We were able to then close out the game. But he just frustrates you sometimes. He's not a very good 3-point shooter, but still manages to put up 5-6 a game. And
he dunked on really he dunked on Gobert, which was all right.
Yeah, that was good. It's frustrating, Dom, because we can be so good at some on occasions, and then on other occasions we just look disjointed as a team. Stuff starts to not go our way, and we just don't take care of the ball. I really don't see in the current format, and I'll say this again, how we are going to contend for a title. I just think there's other teams out there that just have better chemistry, work better on defense. And that was the thing that when we made our title run, I think we were top 3 defense in the league. At the moment, we're sitting about mid-pack. It's not going to get you anywhere. You got to get that defense into a top 5 defense in the league. Go back and have a look at the previous winners of the title. Where they've sat on defense.
It was a top 10 defense.
Yeah, they're all in the top 10. Lakers, we're struggling in terms of, especially in the third quarter. Like, we've been so bad in the third quarter all season. They need to fix that up. LeBron, I don't really know what else he can do. He's playing still at a phenomenal level. It's the other guys that when they don't click, I mean, you have a look, you turn around, LeBron's, put up 30. He's given all he can give. And then you look down the score sheet and you see guys going 2 for 16, other guys going 1 for 8 and stuff like that. That doesn't help your cause, So he needs the other guys to step up, But yeah, it's interesting to see that, when things aren't going their way, that straight away Frank Vogel's on a short leash. And I think this is, he was on a bit of a short leash last season as well. Turned it around. We made it to the playoffs, but then, got belted in the first round by the Suns. So, look, I don't know. Do you have any takes on it, Doma? What you see? All I know is that right now, we're not going to win. We're not going to win. No chance.
Yeah, I was going to start with that. I was just going to say you got no chance of winning. We did discuss it briefly throughout the week that you got rid of a lot of those players that actually play defense and you replace them with guys that they've got like no defensive bone in their body. So like your Wayne Ellington type guys, like I don't understand why you went that route. I understand KCP wanted more money, free up some cap space, but you freed up cap space to load yourself up with the Westbrook contract, which was just dumb, in my opinion. It was just stupid. You should have gone the Buddy Hield route. You could have gone DeRozan. You could have gone so many other ways there. I know LeBron wanted his buddy there. Apparently, it's his buddy, so he's there. Even though he never wanted to play with him his whole career, and he gets him now on the back end. Like, I understand his mentality. LeBron's mentality was, if I'm not going to play, at least we've got a guy that plays 100 million miles an hour. But you got to remember too, He's old. Like, he's not young anymore, Westbrook. Yeah, he's probably durable and he plays a lot of games, but he's not as efficient as what he was.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even efficient when he was efficient. I'll put that in quotation marks.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think Westbrook hasn't adapted his game at all.
No.
Like, at all to try fit within the system. He's just doing the same things that we're used to seeing him doing. And, I mean, you know, I don't know how much he practices that little bank jump shot that he takes from about 12 feet, 12 to 15 feet, and he banks it off the side of the board. But I tell you what, when he misses that shot, it is ugly. Like, he literally hits the top of the backboard. Like, it's horrific. It is horrific.
He's so shit. He's no good. He's no good. You guys, you're in a world of trouble. Global's asked where's Simmons best suited. I don't know if you just saw, but they turned down an offer from, Philly turned down an offer from Detroit. It was Sadiq Bey, someone else from Detroit, and Jeremy Grant, and they turned it down for Simmons.
Why? That's actually a good fit, Jeremy Grant.
I would have taken Jeremy Grant, with Embiid. 100% I would have. Like, I don't know what they're doing.
I really feel that Philadelphia is, at this point, they're getting greedy because he's not going to play there. So you're pretty much absorbing all his contract, right? Which when now you could have ties your hands.
Yeah, you could have multiple players for him to fit into your system. Like, Jeremy Grant's a good get, in my opinion. He's the best player on the.
He can defend the best guy on the other side, and then that gives you good length, gives you Jeremy Grant and Tobias Harris.
But he can shoot also, Source. Like, he's a decent offensive player as well, and he's a great defender. That's positive, says Simmons to the Lakers. We said it last week, and it should be done. What are you getting? What's the difference? You're getting a guy, like, you're going to get rid of Westbrook, and you get Simmons, and you get a guy that, when he plays, is durable, Ben Simmons. He actually is. He's a great defender, which Westbrook isn't. He actually scores at a higher field goal percentage than what Westbrook does. And
he knows he can't shoot three, so he doesn't shoot.
Correct. Number one is the most important part of it all. The most important skill is, like Saul said, Westbrook shoots a three knowing that he can't hit them. Ben Simmons doesn't shoot the three because he knows he can't hit them. So he'll facilitate the ball for a better shot. I would take Ben Simmons in a heartbeat. Their contracts are both massive. I would absorb a massive contract for a massive contract if it's an upgrade. And Ben Simmons is a massive upgrade on Russell Westbrook. Like, massive. I think, people just living in another bloody universe if they think Ben Simmons is an upgrade on Westbrook. They've lost the plot. So, anyway, Sauce, we'll move on. We are spending a bit of time on your mob. Let's move on to your second team, which is the Grizzlies. We'll get some card ladder up and do some comps, but Jaren Jackson Jr. started off pretty slow when Ja Morant returned. Obviously, he was the main focal point in that team when Ja Morant was injured. He's starting to come back and be pretty consistent, averaging around 15 to 18 points in the last few games. But the guy we're going to also comp with him, not comping them against each other, it's more just to see their price since Ja Morant's come back, is Desmond Baine, who's been sharing the offensive load with Ja Morant and scoring the ball prolifically, playing really well. And the Grizzlies are looking amazing, Source. As we know, they went on a 10-game win streak. They're third in the West, or fourth in the West. So
so playing really well. I think
in the West.
There's one thing you definitely glossed over there in terms of Jaren Jackson, right? Is people need to remember
Thanks, Jerry.
The thing with Jaren Jackson last season and why he didn't have the growth that he potentially could have had was he was finding himself in a lot of foul trouble. Picking up fouls, having to be forced to sub out of games. That obviously throws your rhythm out. Then you come back into the game and you're not quite there. This year, if you go have a look at his stats, he's averaging one less personal foul per game. So he's only averaging, I think he was averaging like 5 or last season. He's only averaging 4.4 personal fouls or something along those lines this season. That's allowing him to spend more time on the court. I think he's had in his last 5 games or something like 25 blocks or or something of that nature. He is slowly turning into an absolute force on the defensive side of the ball. But the difference is when you look at a guy like Jaren Jackson, is he's also got a lot of offensive weapons. He's already got a very good 3-point shot. We've seen him a lot this season because I've watched quite a few games of the Grizzlies. Driving to the ring, being able to put a little spin move when he's driving to the ring and then finish at the rim. Little baby hook shots. So the offensive package is coming. Yeah, the offensive package is coming. And I just think that defensive side of the ball has allowed that Memphis team to really anchor around him and then create a top defense because their defense is right up there in the league. They play, solid defense. They've got guys who can rotate through the positions. Desmond Baine can rotate through. You've got Brandon Clark can rotate through. Jaren Jackson's pretty good when he rotates out. He's not bad at moving his feet. He's better than a lot of other bigger guys out there. So I just think, as much as we want to see the improvements on the offensive side of the ball with Jaren Jackson, I think the defensive side of the ball is where he's made the biggest improvement. And that has allowed that Grizzlies team to really step up because, them keeping teams to lower scores has obviously made them successful this season. I mean, they're sitting fourth in the West and looking really, really good. But, obviously some major injuries, going into the second half of the season. Can't see why they can't stay in the top 4 in the West. I don't see why.
Dylan Brooks is still hurt.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks is out, I think, for another 3 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks.
That's another good offensive player that obviously showed a lot last year. I'm trying to find where they.
Yeah, so don't forget in the playoffs last year, Dylan Brooks was the number 2 guy. You had John Morant was obviously number 1, but Dylan Brooks stepped up as the number 2. So it's an interesting dynamic they've got there. They've got, Dylan Brooks, who's more than capable to step up. Desmond Baine. I think they're building a very good, young, cohesive unit. They've got, I think, 3 or 4 guys that they'll probably try to keep together. I think the next piece for them, I don't see the Grizzlies, doing anything significant this season. Maybe they can get past the first round of the playoffs. But where I do see the improvement is them being able to bring in some vet guys, some guys with a lot more experience, and then able to, help with that second unit. And then that's where they'll take that next level, that next step. But we'll bring up some cards here, Doma. So
I'm just looking at like their last game. Jackson had 14. Steven Adams was there. Morant and Bain had 25 apiece. They beat the Bulls, by the way. Ziaire Williams had 2 points. It could even Brandon Clark was good off the bench, had 15. Same with Jones. Tyus Jones at 11. Could even be source that Dylan Brooks comes off and leads the second unit. If you got a guy that's pretty gifted offensively to lead a second unit, could cause a fair few problems for teams when it comes to matchups. So some very good upside there for the Grizzlies. So what do you got?
All right. So there was not too much. I mean, I've just gone to the Prizm Silver because there was Desmond Bane's only got the silver on Cardladder, but it's only raw. But if you have a look in the last 3 months, it's up, $20. If you were buying these probably when they sort of first dropped, they were $60. They dropped down as low as, $10. You could have picked up his silver. They're now sitting at around $35. Jaren Jackson Jr., his Prizm PSA 10 silver at one point was a $700 card. I actually got offered one at 700 AUD and I turned it down. Probably good decision because now they are sitting at 172. Honestly, it's a pretty crazy drop if you ask me for a guy that has improved this season, but that's what we've sort of seen across the board with a lot of guys, especially, the silvers. As much as people want to say, yeah, they're liquid, they're also very, very prone to some massive drops because, admittedly, it's not really a rare card. We can have a look at the pop growth, growing at 0.82%, and it is a 2018. So if you go have a look at Luka Doncic and see how much is on the pop there, that's sort of where you get a grasp of where the pop could potentially grow to. But in 3 months, it is down 57%. So, I mean, Jaren Jackson, in my opinion, at this point in time, I would look at him as potentially a buy. When your cards are dropping that much, and we'll go have a look at his stats here. Jaren Jackson Jr. On Basketball Reference. Shooting the three at 31%, so not the best. It was better in his first 2 seasons, but better than last season. Personal fouls is down from last season. Blocks more blocks than last season. More points than last season. So he's doing a lot of things better, and he is only 22, and older, taller guys take a bit longer to develop. He's now had, he's in his 4th season, and he's only 22. Guys don't reach their prime till 24, 25. So, if you ain't got patience, sometimes when you're buying in on these younger guys, I just feel like maybe, investing in prospects or, whatever you want to call it, holding out to see if they get to that point, it might not be for you. So you just got to have patience. You got to have patience using things like Cardladder, obviously helping you judge when the market is a bit down on that guy. So to potentially, get a better buy. So yeah, there we go. We'll just have a look at his last 5 games. So his last 5 games, 6 games, is that? Last 6 games, he's averaging 17 points. Not shooting the best from 3, so that's something he could definitely work on.
Yeah.
But averaging 4.2 blocks a game, and that's what I said. I think the defensive side of the ball, he's gotten a lot better. I believe his defensive rating is the best he's ever had in his career. So there you go. Defensive rating currently this season is the best he's ever had in his whole career. So it just proves my point that he's really improved on defensive side of the ball, and that's what I think. I think more than the offensive side of the ball, because they were good offensive side last season, if you remember, Doma.
Yeah,
Memphis.
they were.
But defensively, they were giving up big scores, and they've turned that around this season, and that's what's seen them have a lot more success. So, yeah, I mean, I'll bring up Desmond Baine just because we didn't really talk about him. But Desmond Baine has been flying. We've obviously know he's a big fan of cages. Loves Desmond Baine. Think he's and Andrew. They both think he's gifted. But also just keep in mind that Desmond Baine, I believe, is already 22. So he's he's the same age as Jaren Jackson, but he's only been in the league 1 year. What do we got? I'm just trying to find out when he was
23. Is that it there?
It does tell us, yes, he was, yes, age 23. So he's already 23 years old. So, he's had more time in college, more time around basketball systems. So obviously going to be a bit more developed. And that's why you've seen him come into the league and have that ready to go, ready made. Chris Durante is another similar one. I think he's 22, 23, plays for Indiana Pacers. Very similar. So you see this with these older guys. But himself, his Prizm Silver's up. I don't think it's a good time to actually buy his cards because I feel like there is a bit of hype around him, especially because he's playing so well. So you just be mindful there. So I'm not too sure whether there is going to be another bump leading into playoffs. I don't know what to make of the card market at the moment, whether we're going to see that bump. I mean, we didn't see it last season. Trae Young was having an amazing amazing run and made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and his cards still went down, So just be mindful, especially those guys that are rising early in the season. We've seen it last year with Trae Young. He rose, he got pumped up by a lot of influencers, a lot of card guys, Trae Young saying he's going to be the MVP, this and that. I'm not saying they're doing that with Desmond Baine, but we're seeing a similar sort of rise in his prices. Do they keep rising? I don't think so. I think they'll fall off. So maybe not the time to jump on board Desmond Baine if you're looking to collect him. Might just be time just to wait it out. But it just shows that, if guys are playing well and they are a prospect, there is interest in their cards. Their cards do rise. So there's still opportunity there. So that's also one thing that I've taken away from that. But yeah, definitely
very nice.
A solid player, Desmond Baine. I'm not going to deny that. I've watched him a few times, and he's a ready-made guy for the NBA.
Beautiful. Lucky last thing. Just we'll gloss over this very quickly, but Cam Reddish going to the Knicks. To me personally, the guy that's been saying that Zion's going to go to the Knicks, that's pretty much sealed the deal, in my opinion. The fact that Cam Reddish has gone there. Him and Barrett, best friends. You know, the Duke trio coming back together in New York. It can happen. It's not like it can't happen. Julius Randle will just be going back to New Orleans to play there. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Along with Obi Toppin and a whole bunch of other guys. So, Zion will be in next year. So,
if you caught the trade, I mean, definitely the Knicks got the better end of the deal, in my opinion.
Kevin Knox.
What did they give up? Kevin Knox and some picks.
Yeah.
Got Cam Reddish, who I think is a solid player. And I've talked about him before. I think he's very young. I think he's only 21. So he's still got time to improve. He missed a lot of last season with an injury. So, pretty much missed the whole year. Came back, had a decent impact in the playoffs. Probably hasn't got the court time, some of the court time that he maybe he should have in Atlanta. I mean, they're not winning games, so maybe, change it up, give him some more court time. Hopefully he finds that court time in New York, which I don't know. Tom Thibodeau, not too fond of giving some younger guys court time. So let's just see how that pans out. But I think they won the trade in the end. I really do. I do think, because he's a guy that you could add and start building around him, RJ. And, RJ's another one. If we want to talk about it, in his last 4 games, averaging 26 points. He's starting to step it up and starting to, trying to impact himself on games. He's getting up like 18 shots, 20 shots a game.
Yeah.
So putting up good numbers. So I think maybe he's been given more confidence from the coaching staff to, start taking his game to the next level. It'll be interesting to see where this pans out, because
you average 25 next season.
Oh, well, this is what I mean. We've got,
when they get Zion.
This is where I am with RJ Barrett. I think he's an interesting player. I don't think he has reached his potential. I think there's more potential there for him to fulfill. I'm on the other side. I'm going to go opposite, to Cage and Andrew, who pretty much shit on RJ Barrett, saying he's he hasn't shown any improvement. I disagree with that. I think he has shown improvement. I think he's still young and there's still time for him to improve. As I say, guys don't come into their own, don't get to that prime till they're 24, 25. I want to see by the age, next 2 seasons, I want to see RJ start averaging 20 points a game, take that Brandon Ingram-like step, if you want to say, and then be able to elevate his game to that point that when he's 24, 25, to the age of 30, 31, he's putting up numbers, putting up 25 plus a game. So that's the next level for RJ. I think he's got that level. And left-handers, they're interesting. There's not too many that come out that.
Is Cam Reddish left-handed as well?
No, he's right-handed. So,
quick question: do you think Zion's going to go there?
Well, it lines up perfectly, doesn't it, Doma? The Duke trio back together in the NBA. It'd be a good story.
Just remember, Zion said he always wanted to play with RJ Barrett coming out of college.
And he wants to play in a big market, man. He knows that New Orleans is a shit market. And just think about, if he goes to the Knicks, he's thinking about like this. Think about how many jerseys I'll sell and how much percentage I'll make off those jerseys, man. Like, that's what he's thinking about.
If he goes to the Knicks and like opening night next season, balls out, has 20 plus, has 25 and 10, for example. I thought the Knicks went crazy when they beat Boston in the first game. Like, they will literally lose the plot in New York City if that happened. Adam's here. How you going? Cherry says, rest in peace to Logan Pauls' bank account. No, I don't think so. We'll explain why. We touched on it briefly last week. But we will move on, Source. We'll get straight into some soccer. From here on out, looks like it's going to go pretty quickly all the way through to Hobby Talk. Hey, Joel, how are you going? We are well. Do you want to touch on tennis, Source, or you don't want to touch on tennis?
Rafa Nadal's happy, isn't he? Nadal's happy.
No, I was just going to say, I was just going to talk about Kyrgios because I love Kyrgios. But anyway, no, I'll quickly go. We can probably talk about it after the NFL briefly. Results this week: 4-1 Southampton over Brentford. Postponed Everton and Leicester. West Ham defeated Norwich. Brighton and Crystal Palace drew 1-1. Man City defeated Chelsea by a ripper strike from Kevin De Bruyne. Burnley and Leicester was postponed. 1-1 Newcastle versus Watford. That was the debut game for Chris Wood and Kieran Trippier for Newcastle. Norwich defeated Everton 2-1. Pretty much put the stake into Rafa Benitez, who got the flick very quickly after losing that game. Wolves beat Southampton 3-1. Villa and United drew 2-2. Heroics from Philip Coutinho. Source. He came back in, assisted, and scored the equaliser, and got the 2-2 draw against United. Great return for him. I'm not even going to talk about United. It's now just me wasting oxygen on planet Earth talking about that football side, so they can get effed. Liverpool back in the winners' book, beat Brentford 3-0. Leeds defeated West Ham 3-2. The London derby, Tottenham and Arsenal got postponed. Then this morning, Burnley and Watford postponed. Brighton and Chelsea drew 1-1. Chelsea are cooked, pretty much is giving Man City the title at the moment. That is what Liverpool and Chelsea
Did they get beat this morning, did they?
They drew with Brighton 1-1.
Wow. They were 1-0 up at half-time. 54th minute, I checked the scores.
Oh, mate, they scored in the 60th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tomorrow we have Leicester versus Tottenham. And then I'll get up for this one because it's a 7 a.m. start. Brentford versus Man United. So I'll get up and waste my time.
Brentford's home or United?
Yeah, Brentford's at home. We'll probably lose. Then we
got a good chance of drawing that game. I'm not going to say that.
It's also got a good chance of losing that game, not drawing. Everton versus Villa, Brentford Wolves. Then on Sunday morning next week, we have West Ham at 2 a.m. We're not winning that game. Southampton versus City, Arsenal, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Leicester, Brighton, Chelsea, Tottenham. So some nice stuff there. Obviously, if you have not seen during the week, well, yesterday, El Goto del Mondo, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, got awarded FIFA Pro award for his record in goals. And it was great to hear him say that he's got about 5 more years left in his career. I don't think all 5 will be at United. I genuinely think he'll do his 3 years or play next season. If it doesn't get any better, he will leave. He won't even see the 3 years out at United, in my opinion. But he's contracted for 3 seasons there, and then his last 2, who knows where he goes. If he returns to Madrid to play out there or something else. But in saying that, Source, he did say he's got 5 years left, and that means he's got 1 more World Cup in him. If they don't qualify this year, there's still 1 more opportunity for him. So that's it for the soccer. Source, over to you. UFC, you can run through this week, and then you got a massive, massive card coming up this weekend.
Most definitely. All right, so we'll run through. You had UFC Fight Night, Qatar versus Chigatse, and I'll just bring it up, actually. I don't usually, but here we go. So the main card, we had Bill Alego defeating Joe Anderson Brito, featherweight division, 3rd round decision. You had Vyacheslav Bochazev defeating Dakota Bush, 1st round KO in the lightweight division. And then we had women flyweight, Caitlin Chukagen defeated Jennifer Maia, 3rd round decision. The flyweight division, we had Brandon Royval defeating Rodrigo Bontorin, 3rd round decision. Heavyweight, we had Jake Collier, submission, 1st round against Chase Sherman. And then main event, you had Calvin Qatar defeating Chigatse, 5th round decision. Now, that was just the warm-up for this week, Doma, because this week we have a massive card. UFC 270. Here we go. Prelim card. Let's have a look, because we'll see if I know any of the fighters on the prelim. No, not quite. You got the early prelims. Early prelims kick off from 10 a.m. So if you're really keen as mustard, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Time, jump on ESPN. You can watch the prelim card. Then it flicks over to the main event, the main card.
sportsbay.sx.
Yeah, it will be somewhere. It will be somewhere. But also you can buy it through UFC Fight Pass if you want the app.
Yeah,
and go. All right, so we have the main event: Francis Ngannou against Cyril Gane. That's what we're all looking forward to. But the co-main event is just as good, in my opinion. You got Brandon
100%.
Moreno against Deviusin Figueroa. Sorry, that will be a massive fight. Then you got the undercard before that: Michael Pereira against Andre Fialho. Sergey Spivak against Greg Hardy in the heavyweights, so that will be a good one. And Cody Stamann against Said Nurmagomedov. That will be an interesting fight as well in the bantamweight division. But funny enough, Francis Ngannou said some things this week, saying that he doesn't want to fight for 500K anymore. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with how much the UFC fighters actually get paid, but they are severely underpaid when you look in retrospect compared to like boxing. They get paid way less money, and Ngannou's fed up with how much he's getting paid. So who knows what he does after this fight, whether he keeps fighting or not, I'm not sure. But this is going to be a cracker. This is, Francis Ngannou is just a massive power hitter. Cyril Gane, even though he has power, he's a lot more light on his feet, a bit more float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, the old Muhammad Ali saying. He really does fight like that. He does, he's very bouncy on his feet. I think this is an interesting matchup. I think, even Ngannou doesn't close the distance and try getting close, get in the clinch, maybe take him down and use a bit of ground and pound and just allows Cyril Gane to pick him off from the outside, I think he could lose this fight. So I can't say who's going to win this because, Cyril Gane is undefeated. And his last fight, he was clinical. And he picked apart his opponent. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'll be tuning in. I'll be watching this live this Sunday. Make sure you get in front of a screen. Find somewhere to watch it. Usually a pub has it. If not, the realms of the internet. If not, UFC Fight Pass. So, yeah, make sure you tune 100%. In this week.
Joel said, have you seen the trailer for the new Jackass movie? One of those guys takes a punch from Ngannou. I have seen that. Also, very interesting. Type in, like, Ryan Garcia, the boxer, usually does this thing where he gets people to put on, like, the padded chest plate, and he, like hooks them in the ribs and in the stomach and see how many people can take it. Type in Ryan Garcia punches Ngannou on YouTube and just watch when Ngannou puts on the thing. He just keeps hitting him. I'm pretty sure he puts on the thing, or he goes just bare stomach. And Ryan Garcia is smashing the crap out of it, and Ngannou just stands there. And he goes, "Okay, my turn." And then Ryan Garcia is like, "No."
I would shit myself if I had to take a punch from Ngannou. I'm not going to lie.
Oh no, 100%. But just on that, before we do move on, you did see that the big dosser himself, Tyson Fury, and Ngannou had a bit of a back and forth, potentially. Tyson Fury was just laying a bit of stuff there for a big super fight between him and Ngannou in the boxing ring. I know everyone's moving to boxing. As Saul said, there's more money there because it's all through the promo agency and through pay-per-views. So there's a share. And that's how it works with the UFC. They're not getting pay-per-view money, like a generated revenue stream, and the promo is not paying them. UFC as the company is paying the fighters. Whereas the boxing, if you're the headliner, you get a big share of the money. That's why Jake Paul and Logan Paul made a shit ton.
Jake Paul made $40 million from boxing fights in 2021.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I think that will be interesting. And, if anyone's not familiar, Ngannou did come from a boxing background. So that's where he started his origins. So he has, boxing technique to him. Do I think if he came up against Tyson Fury, he would win? No. I think Fury would pick him apart and absolutely demolish him. But would I like to see the fight and would I watch the fight? Yes, I would actually tune 100%. In, watch that fight because they're actually fighters that have been fighters over the career. It's a bit different to like, Logan Paul coming up against Floyd Mayweather. I couldn't give a fuck about that shit. That's just a waste of time. This year, I actually would be interested. But I think it's interesting, and you know what? It's actually smart by Ngannou. He knows he's getting severely underpaid for his talents. And maybe that's the next step for him, to set up these
maybe this could be the
Mickey Mouse fights in a sense, because they're not actually for anything.
Source.
But the money.
This could actually be the resurgence of boxing to an extent. And as we did say, boxing was struggling and it needed someone like Dana White potentially to get involved. What's to say that UFC just becomes an entity on mixed martial arts in itself, but also a boxing company? As you know, Dana White comes from a boxing background himself.
Yep.
So how do you not know? He goes, fuck, you know what? We probably need to have a boxing division, and not for anything, headliners after in UFC main events, because there's so much money in it, they start getting kickbacks from pay-per-views. Who knows? Could be start of something big potentially in the fighting world. So I definitely will pay a lot of attention to it, especially if Ngannou says I'm going to go box Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Like, just remember when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather, Dana White represented Conor. If Ngannou went to fight Tyson Fury, Dana White's going to be nowhere to be seen. Ngannou's going to be like, I'm fighting him, and that's it. So it's interesting. It's a lot of stuff, and he's the heavyweight champion of the world, mate, in the UFC, Ngannou. So definitely eyes on what's to come in the fighting world. All right, Source. Big week, wild card weekend, Source, in the NFL. There was some huge games. We are going to start with the AFC wild card playoff game, because Joey B, your boy, even though the Raiders probably got rorted after that, they blew the whistle and they stopped. There was so much controversy this weekend. It was crazy. But the Bengals get their first playoff win in 31 years or something like that. I think it's 31 years. There you go. Joe Burrow, Saucy's boy. He's been very high on him since he came into the league. Even when he got hurt, he said he showed a lot in what was a tire fire of a team. And not for the Bengals have strung together some great football this season, and they'll be playing in the divisional round this week due to a great performance against the Raiders. So, Saucy, just your thoughts on that very quickly. It is your boy, Joey Burrow.
Yeah, so my thoughts are, I'm happy for the Bengals franchise. I mean, it's broken a massive drought. But, I always had belief in Joe Burrow. And I spoke about him early on when I watched probably his first 2-3 games in the league. And I was like, this guy's, he's got something. He really understands how to, run the offense. He doesn't look frazzled. Obviously, them having a putrid offensive line last season didn't help. But they've made improvements this season. They've gotten better on certain aspects of the ball. But Joe Burrow has, taken his game to another level. And, to go in there in your first playoff game and get the win, like, that's massive. If you're prospecting and, looking at buying Joey Burrow cards for the future, I think he's a good get. Is he a good get right now because he's just won a playoff game and he just had that hype where he won the game to get into the playoffs? Probably not. I think his card prices are probably a tad high right now. So maybe just wait a little bit, maybe wait for him to get knocked out. There's a bit of a fall off because there's no attention on him at the moment. And then, maybe pick up 1 or 2 pieces or whatever you're looking to buy. But overall, I think he's a very, very solid quarterback. And I think above average quarterback.
Great.
You've got the average quarterbacks, and then you've got, the guys that have the potential to take it to elite. Get up to the Aaron Rodgers, get up to, I wouldn't say Brady, but I'm talking about Brady in terms of like his ability to, make passes, make very few mistakes, manage the clock, and do all those things. Because there's a lot more than just being able to obviously pass and hit the target, although that's a big part of the game, but being able to just know the right situational opportunities and what you need to do in those situations. So he will grow with time, but massively high on Joe Burrow. I think, he's a really, really good quarterback. And he showed that. He showed that there was obviously controversy in the game with them blowing the whistle and it not getting called dead. But, whatever, there's controversy all the time.
You wait till we get to the Cowboys game and talk about controversy.
So it's it's pretty standard stuff in the NFL.
Exactly.
Man. Like, it wouldn't be the playoffs without controversy, would it?
Exactly. Next up, we had the Bills slapping the Patriots by 30, 47-17. Josh Allen just waltzed in and said, "See you later." Pretty much, he just put his foot down and just buried them.
Yeah.
They could not do shit. In that game, so New England.
Let's peel this back. Both us, I think, went Pats last week, and we got this mightily wrong.
Yeah, I think I did.
They went in there. They weren't able to really move the ball. Only had 89 yards on the ground. That forced Mac Jones to throw the ball, which is what teams should have had to do all season. Force him to try throw the ball. He had 38 attempts, QBR 59.6, threw 2 interceptions. So had a really, really tough day at the office. I don't know if this defines Mac Jones just yet.
No, it's his rookie season.
Next season. I don't think it does. He's had a really, really good season. So, if you're into Mac Jones, maybe don't jump off the bandwagon just yet. But also have a look now because let's hope, because I'll be honest with you, the prices of his cards, I was not buying any of them because they were just phenomenally high for a guy who just had done nothing. It was giving me a bit of Luka Doncic vibes about his card prices for a guy that's done absolutely jack shit. How much people were paying for them. So it's credit to the Bills. They played phenomenal. Josh Allen was elite, 21 of 25, QBR 98.5, 5 TDs, no interceptions, absolutely pummeled him on the ground, 174 yards on the ground. Josh Allen himself ran it 6 times and had an average carry of 11 yards. He was running for a freaking first down every time he carried the ball. They just couldn't stop them at all facets of the game. I mean, being down 27-3 at halftime really forced the hand of the Patriots. They had to throw the ball and they weren't able to do it. Credit to the Bills. They, Josh Allen, I just want to see him take the next step. Can he get over that hump? Can he get to the Super Bowl this year? That's the next step for Josh Allen. Obviously, he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to be, up there as the, one of the top 5 QBs of the next 10 years in the league. And I think that this Bills franchise is in a good spot. I mean, we know their defense is good. We know their defense is very good. So they can make outside of the draw. It'll be interesting to see their matchup, who they've got this week when we go through it, and then we'll have a chat about it.
Yeah. So. Next up, there's a couple here we don't need to spend too much time on, but Buccaneers, Eagles, we pretty much penciled in Tom Brady in that one. They beat the Eagles 31-15. The other one was
3 quarters.
Yeah, the other one was Chiefs against Steelers. Last game for Big Ben. Mahomes just came out and threw a 5-piece chicken dinner against them and just decided to turn up and dominate.
30 from 39 on attempts and 5 TDs. He was just dominated.
He was phenomenal. Then we had the Rams versus Cardinals. The Rams came out, played amazing. Odell Beckham Jr. is actually fitting really well into that system. He's starting to get touchdowns. I think he threw a touchdown in this game, I'm pretty sure. Did he? Or he definitely did throw the ball.
He did.
Yeah, he threw a TD.
He threw 40-yard TD.
Yeah, there you go. So, as we know, he's very talented. He's had a lot of issues. Talented, injuries, all that type of jazz. But it just shows when you're in a good system. It actually just shows how bad Cleveland is. That they couldn't use a guy that talented to help bolster their roster. And he's gone to the Rams and they've made it work. McVay's made it work. And he's dominating again. And they're looking pretty threatening. And the Matt Stafford trade for Goff has just been
Yeah.
mint.
It was
Just
TD.
mint.
I'll just correct that bomber. He threw a 40-yard completion, so not bad.
A completion.
40-yard
Sorry,
bomb.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think
Cardinals on the
they
other
went on that
other
drive
end.
and ended up scoring a TD in the next play.
Okay.
So that was,
on the other end, the Cardinal source get done, but let's be honest, big step up from last season. They may have overachieved a little bit this year, but it was promising signs for Kyler Murray and the franchise.
Guys, don't forget, he's still only 24 years old.
He's got
Kyler
plenty
Murray,
of time.
so he's got plenty of time. And let's not forget that when we went through the I forget what division they're from, but in their division with Seattle and the other guys in there, they were picked by the bookies at 7-1 odds to win that division. They were rank outsiders, right? And they nearly won the division, and they've overachieved. They've got into a wild card game, but just a good year. Unfortunately, not good enough in the playoffs, but a very
Rams are just good,
solid year by the Cardinals. They did, we sort of something. They did fall off towards the end of the year. They started like a house on fire and then fell away and just couldn't keep, the train rolling. But the Rams are looking very good. I mean, they moved at 140 yards on the ground. And on the flip side, the Cardinals are only able to, get 61 yards rushing. So the Rams, held them there, forced Kyler obviously throw the ball. He threw 2 picks, had an absolutely horrendous game, 7.6 QBR. But that doesn't define him because he played many games this season where he was solid. Obviously, it comes down to, Matt Stafford. He's been to the playoffs before. He's won playoff games. A lot more of a seasoned player. And yeah, just credit to the Rams franchise because they definitely made the right move, getting rid of Goff and getting in Matt Stafford because they look much better side.
100%. Joel says happy to see Stafford finally get a finals win. The lucky last game. We said it, Source. We said it on the show last week. Do not be surprised if San Francisco walk into Jerry's world and win this game. And Source, they walked into Jerry's world and they won the game. They beat him 23-17. A bit of controversy at the end when they went to go spike the ball. The official ran through the lineup. It was a bit of a mess. But besides the point, they got outplayed by San Francisco up until that point anyway. Typical Cowboys football. Nothing else to say, to be honest. I'm shattered, as you know. I like the Cowboys, but just not good enough.
Yeah, so, the thing that sticks out here to me is the fact that they kept him to 77 yards rushing. So that obviously forced Dak to throw the ball. And we have seen that Dak, can hit targets, but, forcing him to throw it 43 times and, he has only 23 completions, QBR of only 27. But what really sticks out is being sacked 5 times. That, we said the 49ers defense was really good. And that just proved it. They got to the QB 5 times, sacked him for a total loss of yards of 40 yards on the day. On the flip side of the ball, Jimmy Garoppolo did what he needed to do. Didn't do too much. Only forced to throw it 25 times. QBR of 68.5. He hit 16 of 25 targets. Only 172 yards, but where they really dominated, they just moved the ball on the ground. Their offensive line and their blockers got on top of Dallas's defense. They moved at 169 yards on the ground and 38 carry attempts. So that's an average of 4.4 yards. So that's nearly getting you, half the yards to a first down on 1 carry. So when you're doing that, you're putting yourself in a good position to, move the chains, get everything moving. And, we called it. We said that the 49ers definitely had a chance going in there to Dallas into Jerry's world and getting the win, and they did.
Joel says the game management was terrible. He said they had a fake punt, which worked so good, and followed it by an atrocious decision to keep the special teams on the field. Yeah, they were just all over the shop. And in saying that, we move
So
to
their game management hasn't gotten better. They got rid of Garrett, who was terrible at game management, and they brought in what's his
Mike McCarthy.
McCarthy, the ex Green Bay coach, and
Yeah.
it's still poor.
Yeah.
Which is
Well, they're done,
can
Source,
cost you in
and
games.
once again they're now irrelevant because they're booted out of the playoffs. So we'll get to this week, and we got the Bengals against the Titans. We'll give our predictions. You're going to go with Joey B. You're backing him in.
Yeah, interesting game, this one. There's been times throughout the season when the Titans have looked really good, and then they've looked poor on other occasions. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna back the Bengals in. I'm gonna back the Bengals in. I'm gonna go all the way with Joey B.
Okay.
I actually, I'm only going with
okay.
I'm only going with Joey B just because I like him. But
He's your boy.
I think the Titans do have enough to beat the Bengals. I think this is going to be the letdown week for the Bengals. It's only going to be one thing. It's either going to be the Bengals is going to win in like a hard-fought win by a field goal or a TD that comes down to the fourth quarter, or the Titans are literally going to win by 3 TDs. Yeah, that's the way
I'm going Titans in this one. Next up, Packers 49ers.
I'm going to go with the Packers.
I'm backing the Packers. They were my pick to win it all. Next up, we have Rams Buccaneers.
It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. I believe the Rams were one of the 4 teams that beat the Bucs this season.
I think so, yes.
So they do have one over them. But also on the flip side, I'm not going against the GOAT. I'm going with Brady just because it's Tom Brady. So
yeah, that's fair enough. And lucky last, Bills v Chiefs. Mahomes versus Allen.
The quarterbacks of the next 10 years, the 2 guys that people are massive in the hobby, massively high on in the hobby. Obviously, Mahomes already won a Super Bowl, so he's above Allen for sure. But Allen, is proving that he's a guy that is going to be in this league for a long time, going to be a starting quarterback for a long time, is going to make a lot of money in this league. I'm going to go with the Chiefs, and that's because I picked Chiefs at the start of the season to win the whole thing, so I've got to stay with them. I'm going
to go Chiefs because I picked Chiefs to play against Green Bay in the final, in the Super Bowl. So anyway, stay tuned for those. We'll cover them next week. Very nice, Source. Let's get into what is going to be a very fun hobby talk. I think it's going to be very fun. I'm probably just going to bait you for about half an hour to 45 minutes and just let you just start flaming the shit out of people. So hobby talk, let's start with how the week started, pretty much. And it was with G.I. Joe being the topic of discussion. Logan Paul opened up his $3.5 million authentic BBCE authenticated first edition Pokemon case. Azuro, how are you? Great to have you in. And it got opened. Everyone was there. They had I don't even know all their names, but Shine was there. Logan Paul was there. Poker Clown. I don't even know who half these lemons are. They were all there and for the big reveal, and they opened it, Source. And it was G.I. Joe in the sealed Pokemon.
We said, look, if you watched, go on.
We just said it was fake until proven. So it was real until proven fake.
Yeah,
that's just, you have to go by that because it's got BBC authenticated. But we weren't confident when we started finding out that you go for it, Source. The authentication.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let's talk about, if anyone didn't follow the story or isn't familiar with it, you've been living under a rock. Logan Paul bought the box off Shine. That was the first edition, sealed case of Shine, which was previously found by Card Kahuna and Mealy Pops, and they then sold it to Shine. Shine then bought it for $2.5 million and then sold it to Logan for $3.5 million. So he made $1 million, which has now all been refunded because, Shine refunded Logan Paul. I'm not sure about the other guys what's happened there. I don't think Shine himself has been refunded yet on the fake case. But what's more alarming on this whole thing is the fact that it got a BBCE wrap put around it without them actually doing their job. So if anyone's not familiar, but baseball card exchange, they authenticate sealed products and then they put their wrap around it. And that's supposed to be like, let's just talk about them as the PSA for authenticating sealed product, right? Essentially. They're supposed to be the number one in the market. They're supposed to know what they're doing. They're supposed to have many years and of experience. But it looks as though they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know how to do their job properly. So it got sealed. Then there was a lot of people that were worried about it potentially being fake.
A lot of forums. There was heaps of people looking into it.
If anyone followed Rattle Pokemon, shout out to Rattle Pokemon.
Yep.
He's the guy that put together a massive video about it. And there was so many red flags. He put like a 40-minute long video about it. There was red flags everywhere. And then, they were like, well, we need to find out if this is real. And the only way to find out if it's real is to open it. The condition was we're going to open it, make sure it's real, then we're going to seal it again and BBCE wrap it. And it's going to be pretty much a sealed case again, once it's authenticated. So they built this up. They built the drama up. Obviously Logan Paul, in true Logan Paul fashion, had to make a big video about it because he knew how much hype was around it. So he knew how much money you make, he would get, how much revenue.
Money. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So, built it up. Comes out, it's fake, right? They had the BBC, the owner of BBCE there. I don't know his name. They had Shine there. They had Logan Paul. I don't know if there's other people there. They comes out, it's faked. That they open it. They open one of the boxes. They open the pack in there, and there's GI Joe cards. It's been It's literally, not only is it not even just fake Pokemon cards, it's literally just not Pokemon cards at all. It's literally boxes that have been resealed with fake with GI Joe cards in there. And the guy from BBCE says we've been duped. And now
before you go deeper source and
go on.
This gets cut, the next clip is going to get cut and probably shared to so many people to say this is actually how you should be thinking about this company going forward. And you've got a bit of info. But in all honesty, when all that information started coming out about the case, the moment that the trailer dropped for it, revealed tomorrow, blah, 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 it was just all production value around it. The whole time I was thinking, it's actually fake. This thing is actually fake. Because you're making it into this big production value. Every time you put a trailer, more people coming to your page and more content clicks and views, and Logan Paul's making a heap of money. Even if let's just say he spent $3.5 million and he lost out $3.5 million. Even if he made half to 3/4 of his money back off content creation and then got refunded his money anyway, he came out ahead. There is no way in hell Logan Paul lost $3.5 million. No way. If you remove the refund as well, just pretend he didn't get refunded, he wouldn't have lost $3.5 million. That's not with all the content clicks, all the shares, all the views. Like, this was the biggest talking point. Everyone was going nuts. Like, oh, so he would have made money out of it. That's just how he works. He's a great content creator. So, but the breadcrumbs are there. As Saul said, Rattle Pokemon pretty much put up a very strong case as to the fact that it was going to be fake. And then a few comments in here. Joel says, the opening was rough. Lamont goes to whoever contributed to the G.I. Joe price increases. I loved how quickly Authenticator said we all got duped. That was very funny. Logan will make bank off this video anyway. Correct. That's exactly right. The other thing, just before Source does go in, our good friend, well, he's not really a good friend. He probably doesn't even know us. And if he did know us, he'd probably hate us based on off crunch time every time Luca refers to him as Shilstein. He put up a video source. I don't know if you caught this. He was doing an opening and he goes, I've got 4 things here I want to open. Literally, it was actually quite funny. It was so cringe and shit that I had to laugh. He had a giant box source and it was a G.I. Joe truck, like one of the first G.I. Joe trucks that were ever made for the toys. And he goes, spent $3.5 million at auction to buy this G.I. Joe truck. And he opened the box and there was a sealed rectangle box in there. And he goes, where's my truck? Anyway, he opens it. Instead of G.I. Joe cards, there was Pokemon cards in there. Vivid Voltage Pro. He's flipped it. I was just like, you're an idiot. Like, back of Le Mans. But I'm telling you, next week, when we do Le Mans of the Month, there's going to be a fair few candidates because there's been some absolute lemons this month. Absolute lemons. And we'll give you a bit of insight at the end of our Hobby Talk. But Source, back to you. You've thought a bit more deep, as we do on this show. We always think a bit deeper into issues. We don't just look at the surface. We look at what's under the surface. And what's your thought process now after this howler from the BBCE?
Yeah. So this is how I'm approaching this, right? As I said, BBCE is supposed to be the number one in the business to authenticate sealed product, right? Now, admittedly, the owner of BBCE said he was they were duped, and now that to me opens there's a lot of questions to be answered, in my opinion, because now if he can't actually authenticate things properly, what other items that he's meant to authenticate has he not authenticated correctly, or they have not authenticated correctly? Now, there was a video that came out a while ago. I don't know the exact video, but I've seen a clip of it where Mojo Breaks, in one of his video, he, I believe, was inside BBCE headquarters and was chatting with the guy, or I don't know exactly where he was 100%, but he was chatting with the owner of BBCE, and he said that PSA sends them the packs that they grade to authenticate them, and they say, yes, they're authentic, no, they are not authentic, and then they ship them back to PSA, and PSA grades the packs. Now, this is admittedly the same guy that has also admitted that he's not very familiar with Pokemon. He's not very familiar with authenticating Pokemon, which has been proven because he was duped in authenticating a sealed case of Pokemon First Edition cards. Now, what else have they authenticated that is now not actually authentic? What is to say that someone has not opened First Edition Pokemon packs, resealed them with other cards inside, G.I. Joe cards?
Because that's a common thing. It's very common. That's very common to do in Pokemon.
And then sent that pack to PSA to get graded, right? Which now they send to BBCE to authenticate, which they don't know how to do their job, which has been proven, fact. They then say, yeah, this is authentic, even though there could be other cards inside because it's resealed. And PSA slap that up and grade the pack. Now, if you want to have a look, on the PSA Pop Report,
he's done the research as well.
You've got
I love this.
Shadowless First Edition. You got First Edition packs. You got Fossil packs First Edition. Jungle First Edition.
Jungle, yeah.
Right. Let's have a look. This is Fossil, right? Fossil First Edition packs. 1,284 graded total. How many of those are actually fake? This is First Edition packs. 875 total graded. How many of those are actually fake? Fossil packs, Shadowless First Edition, 634 total graded. How many of those are fake? Right? And Jungle First Edition, 982 total graded. How many of those are fake? Now, these are the questions I have, because
it's a valid point.
BBCE can't do their job properly. So who knows whether now PSA is actually grading fake packs. Now, the outside of it might not be fake. That's what you need to remember. The outside of it might not be fake. But people are very astute in this hobby when it comes to scams, that they would know how to reseal these packs to the point that they wouldn't tell the difference.
Correct.
And if he actually can't tell the difference, well, why are they in the hobby? Like, why are you here? You're not doing your job properly. This is the question I have, Doma.
I forget his name. Oh my God, I can't believe. He's a Pokemon YouTuber. He opens up a lot of packs and stuff. And I remember watching him a year and a half ago, and I think he got sold the fake box of Neo. That's the one where you can get the Lugia. I think it's Neo. And he opened the first pack, and he goes, "Oh, that opened really easily." He goes, "I'm not too confident on the box." And he went through and he goes, "Fuck, like this card's fake." Oh, no, sorry. The cards were organized where they were in the same order, and then he opened 3 packs in a row and it was the same cards in the same order, same base cards. And he went, "Oh fuck, I think this is a fake box." And then there was one pack in there that was sealed terribly. It was like open at the top, and he goes, "Oh no, I've been duped." And he opened it, and there was actually fake cards in it. The top ones were like real cards, and then the bottom ones were fake. But they got to the point, like, they reseal the original packaging so well that until you open it, and it opens so easily that you go, "Oh, it's actually fake." Like, they can get the crimp on the top of the pack so well sealed that to the untrained eye or someone that doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to authenticating Pokemon, that, like, I'm not questioning their sports card stuff, all right? Because if we have to go into that, I'm just going to pretend that everything they do in sports cards is legit, all right? Because that's why they're called the baseball card authentic exchange, or whatever the hell they're called, all right? But with the Pokemon, for actually to put out a statement to say that you are unaware of how to authenticate Pokemon cards properly, and we are aware, Source and I and other people in this hobby, how easily it can be to use original packaging to reseal it and put whatever cards you want in it, I'm not confident. I really am not confident. We're looking at close to 4,000 packs there that are graded just by PSA. We haven't even looked at BGS to see if anyone's graded packs with BGS, for example. I know that you're saying, Source, that they've got a direct relationship with each other, PSA and thing. And PSA is trusting them to give them an authenticated product for them to slab up.
Yeah.
But I'm actually not confident with those numbers now. A case is whatever, and Source is like, "Nah, Dom, we got to go deeper into this." And I've been thinking about this, and we do grade packs here. And I go, "That's correct." And he goes, do you know that this is a thing, a relationship?" I said, "No, I didn't know that was the thing." And he goes, "Yep." He goes, "What's to say that they haven't done that?" And it's true. What's to say that the packs aren't fake in there? And they don't sell cheap. I'm going to make that very, very clear to people. Graded packs of Pokemon cards, it's not like you're getting them for $50. It's not a $50 investment. That's all I'm saying. It's not $50. It's like, "Oh fuck, I got a fake pack. Oh, I only spent $50. It is not $50, especially for a first edition pack that's graded. I'm assuming Source has got some.
I got some stats here on some stuff on you. Here we go. All right, so let's have a look. Like a PSA 10 Neo Genesis first edition pack, sold for $575.
There you go.
This is a Jungle first edition PSA 10 Flareon pack, sold for $600.
Yeah.
Here's a I think there was a PSA 9 down here somewhere. Of something. Here's a PSA pack. 8 Shadowless Charizard 1 pack that sold for $3,200. So what's to say that could be a fake pack? Like,
how do you know? How do you know?
If BBCE doesn't know how to authenticate Pokemon properly, and they have stated that, and it's been proven fact with the fact that they couldn't authenticate Logan Paul's box properly, then what's to say that they are authenticating these properly?
And I guarantee you, no one's going to go crack it open to check, because if you crack it open, it is fake. You lose 3,200 USD. But the problem then after that is if they don't crack it, they list them, and people will buy them because they think it's real. Which, not for anything, it's been authenticated and graded by PSA, so you assume that it is real. That's the problem now. Like, there's assumptions around Pokemon packs. That's the way, the PSA Pokemon packs. That's the way I look at it. I never, if you're asking me as a collector, I will never, based on this and the information, I will never buy a graded Pokemon pack by PSA ever in my life. Never. For the fact of, it could be fake now. I'm not going to take that investment gamble. Imagine spending 3,200 US source. What's that? 4,500 Australian. 4,000 Australian dollars. And the contents are fake. Just imagine that. So anyway, it's one of those things to question it and think a lot harder. This is what we always say on this show. There's more to everything. Don't just look at the surface sometimes. You might have to dig a little deeper. And unfortunately, if we dig a little deeper on this case, it could be very, very, very worrying signs for Pokemon collectors that have graded individual packs. And that's not on PSA. I'm not saying this is on PSA. I'm just saying it's on BBCE. Because they've told PSA, this is real, it's authentic. Go for your life. They just go based on... If you go to a professional and the professional says something's real, are you going to trust the professional? Yeah, you are. Because you're outsourcing the product to them. So, I don't know. It's not a good look. All right, next up, source on the same day. This was fantastic. I'm not really too familiar with these guys until LTB actually put them in their like awards thing as breakers. I actually wasn't too familiar, and I know they do a good job, but Backyard breaks a bit of drama, which I then found out after. Then I found out later that they've had incidents in the past, and like I don't know because I had no idea.
We don't really keep up to date with all the
I don't care about that
happens, but yeah, a bit of a bizarre situation.
The Island Boys, Backyard Boys.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
what happened here? Go for it. This is actually so funny.
Yeah. So essentially, they had a break,
and
they were said anyone who the person who hits worse in the break will give you open a free box of absolute football. So the person who hit the worst in the break was like, "Yep, we're opening this box for you." They opened the box. There happened to be a Trevor Lawrence gold number to 10 kaboom in there. And
that was the giveaway card. Yeah.
That was the giveaway. So he was getting the whole box, but like that was the big hit in the box. It was number to 10 kaboom, Trevor Lawrence, potentially anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000 card. Raw USD probably. And you grade that, who knows, it might be more. Or will be more, not might be. And they've turned around and said, "Oh, we can't give that away because the card's too good. So we're not giving that away to you. Right? What we're going to do is we're going to give away $20,000 cash to a charity." Now, then with that card, I don't know what they were going to do. They were going to give him something else. But long story short, you bought into their break. They supported their business as a consumer. They promised that the worst person who hit in the break, the worst hit in the break, would get a free box. You fulfilled that promise. You gave the free box. And because the card that was in the free box was too good, you decided to rescind that free box. This is literally what's happened, right? Now, what they've done here is very elaborate, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've thought about this, but someone brought this to my attention, and I was like, you know what? That makes sense. They're now not giving away the card, but they're going to give away $20,000 cash to a charity. Now, I'm not sure about the laws in the States and the laws around tax offsets in terms of donations. But in Australia, when you donate money to a charity, you can use that as a tax offset when you do your tax at the end of the financial year. I'm assuming it's probably the same with people in the States.
Well,
So
based on what we
around,
were told, Source, it is.
It is, right? So they've turned around and done this, given the $20,000 so they're obviously a registered business with an LLC, and they can use that 20K now to tax offset that, keep the Trevor Lawrence, grade it, potentially gets a 10 and make even more money. Do we see how wrong this is? Like the fact that they're not giving away the card anyway.
As Azurdo said, then he said there was 3 mini boxes in the hobby box, and we're only giving away 2 mini boxes, and not the one that Trevor Lawrence was in. Anyway, sorry, Source. Yeah, so you tax write-off. They get money back out of that, and plus they keep the Trevor Lawrence, which then they can sell for profit.
Yeah.
So they come out ahead.
Do we see how wrong this is on all fronts? Like it, man. I don't give a shit, man. Just don't say. This is where it comes down to. Don't say you're going to do something and then you don't follow through. If it's a giveaway, it's a giveaway. That's it, mate. At the end of the day, if you really wanted that card, you know what you could have done? You could have made him an offer for it and bought the card off him.
Exactly.
Look, it just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good on their business, and they're only hurting themselves because they've got a massive following, 27K on IG,
and they did Source
6K Twitch followers.
I saw this morning, Source, they did donate the money to charity because there was a letter from the charity back to them thanking them for the donation. Because I think they worked something out with the person. The person came on IG Live and said it was okay that they kept the Trevor Lawrence. I don't think it's okay if you hit a $20,000 card, unless they've compensated you in the background for you to say it's okay for them to do that.
Look, first and foremost, word of probably advice, whether they listen to this or not, backyard breakers. But if you're going to do something like that, don't say it on camera while you're live, so then people can flame you. Just say, yep, congratulations, whatever. This is amazing. Finish the live, get in his DMs, message him, and say, this is what we want to do. And if he's okay with it, he's okay with it. But the fact that you've turned around as soon as you pulled that card and said, we're not giving that to you, it looks so bad.
The fact that the crop top version of me, so with the blonde hair on that stream, the crop top version, because he's wearing a freaking crop top, the fact that the crop top version of me came out and said, oh, I'm going to get flamed for this. That's what he kept saying. He goes, I'll be the bad guy. I'll take all the heat. When he made the comment about the card, just tells me that in the moment you're thinking to yourself, shit, we can make a lot of money off this card.
Yeah.
Like on the spot. You're like, shit, if we give that away, we'll lose money on this, but if we keep it, we can make X amount. We can probably buy more product or do whatever they got to do with it. Just the way but you can actually see their brain process and the way they were thinking about what they were going to do the moment that card was pulled. After they celebrated,
10, I'm telling you, that's a $50,000 plus card.
Yeah, 100% it is. 100% it is. But you watch after the celebration, the way their demeanor changes because they start thinking, what do we do? And then the guy comes out, he goes, I'm going to be straight out. I'm going to be straight out. We're not giving this card away. We can't give this one away. Well, you can, because you just said the 2 minutes prior to you pulling the kaboom that this is the box, it's going to so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. Like, fuck it. They're just idiots, really. It's just a stupid thing to do. Really stupid thing to do. At the end of the day,
all they're doing is hurting their business because they've gotten a lot of bad publicity over this, and now all it does is just people, people who may have broken with them before don't come back as repeat customers. No, and, that's the number one driving factor in any business, repeat customers. Any business owner will tell you that.
100%.
So the fact you're hurting your repeat customer base, not good business practice. Just really poor.
Not at all. Next up, Source, Dallas Card Show happened this week. Few scamming things going. I don't know what's happening anymore. I genuinely don't know what's going on anymore. People scamming, then people saying that the guy was wrongfully accused, and then people saying now that it was deliberate, like he was deliberately getting rid of like a fake Brady. But then there was another story. I don't know if it's the same story because I don't know what's happening anymore because there's so much crap happening.
Yeah, there's a lot floating around.
There was seven Jordan rookies that were pre-authenticated. Once again, another pre-authentication fucking company in Mike Baker authenticating, whatever it is.
Yeah, NBA.
NBA. And then that was sold to the person, and they had it was like fake. They were fake Jordan cards, and then people started saying, "Nah, but the NBA sticker was also fake." It's like, frick, that, like, what is going on?
I don't really know. I don't know the full extent of the story, but you know, a guy got arrested.
Tasered.
At
He
Dallas
got
Card
tasered.
Show, tasered. It was pretty crazy. I mean, some of the footage is pretty bad. I mean, there is literally people who were there who said, you know, people freaking spat on him and shit like that. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, you know, whether he's done the right thing or the wrong thing, he's in custody. You know, let the laws, let the police take care of it from there. You know, you don't need to go that extra mile. That's just not, you know, this is just not being a good human, man.
Yeah,
Like,
we're not
you know,
savages. Like,
yeah, you don't spit on people and stuff. So it's just not cool, that sort of thing. But what the actual story is, I'm not 100% sure, Doma. You know, there's been a lot of things that have come out. I don't know if anyone's actually gotten to the bottom of this. But just another word of warning to people out there in the hobby. Like, you need to be on top of your game, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing, this sort of thing, because, you know, outsiders who might be looking to come into the hobby, they might see this and they get deterred. You know, they get deterred. And this might be a red flag for them to not venture into sports cards, not venture into the hobby. And, you know, that's not what we want. This is not the light that we want on the hobby. You know, we want and it's unfortunate. I'm not just talking about what's happened at the Dallas Card Show, but I'm also talking about, you know, what happened with Backyard Breakers. You know, this is not the light that we want on the hobby. You know, we want people to conduct themselves in the way that they would like to be treated, whether that be, you know, whether you're breaking, whether you're buying cards, whether you're dealing, you know, whether you're trading cards. You know, if it's not something that you would like to happen to you, well, why are you going out there and trying to dupe other people? Why are you going out there and trying to, you know, do these things to others? Because all that does is word gets around, and it just doesn't shed a good light on the hobby. Albeit there's so many good things, and there are so many good things. Unfortunately, and this is the way society is brought up, because we see it in the news every single fucking day, that it's 90% bad stuff, 10% good stuff. And unfortunately, the bad stuff severely overshadows the good stuff. It's just the way people's minds are programmed. Yeah. And it's just, we need to try to keep the bad stuff to a minimal, and you know, help people out. If you know, if you're in this hobby and there's someone new, help them out. Like, you know, lend some advice, lead them in the right direction. You know, find out, ask them questions. You know, what do you want to get out of the hobby? You know, that's the first thing that I sort of ask people when they want to start buying cards. Like, what do you want to get out of it? You know, because there's many different ways you can enjoy this hobby, but it's up to you to decide which way you want to enjoy the hobby. And like, the way I enjoy the hobby has changed over the 2 years, 3 years now that I've, you know, been collecting cards, has changed, right? So, you know, you need to sort of decide what you want to do for yourself. And then, you know, once you understand that about someone, then lead them in the right direction. Give them some pointers, give them some advice, but also don't tell them what's 100% wrong and what's 100% right. You know what I mean? If someone doesn't want to spend too much but wants to buy rookie cards, and they want, you know, they want to just buy base cards, that's fine, man. Don't tell them that base cards aren't the wrong thing, but also make them aware that when there's price fluctuations, that base cards are the first to really, really feel that, you know, when they go down, right? So, you know, it's being informative, being helpful. We need more of that stuff in the hobby, and that's why, you know, if you ever have questions, you know, you want to know anything, feel free to DM either, you know, Double Coverage or Saucy Collectibles. Hopefully we can help you out, give you some advice. And if we can't, we've got a lot of connections. We can point you in the right direction of someone who can give you some advice on whatever it may be. And, you know, advice even comes down to like guys that you may be looking to break with.
100%.
You know, it's more than just collecting, because, you know, breaking, you need to have trust. You're putting your money, you're giving your money to this person that potentially, if you do pull a big card, they are going to give you that damn card. You know what I mean? Like, where we've seen other guys, they don't follow through on what they're supposed to do.
Case in point was Backyard Breaks this week. So,
yeah.
The other thing, Source, we will move on to some other. You just summed it up so nicely there, and it was very well said. So I'm not going to go bring up one story that has come out on a potential account reveal of the person, because let's be honest, I can't be bothered. I actually can't be bothered.
We told you one day we would find out.
Yeah. One day we will. And I think that day was during the week, but you can follow the breadcrumbs. Go out there, have a look for yourselves. But Source, 2022 Prizm UFC. Is there a preview for that?
There is. I'll bring it up.
Beautiful. Bring it up. There we go. Can have a run through on this.
Yeah, Prizm UFC. This is the hobby box breakdown 2022 Prizm UFC. It's 12 cards per pack, 12 packs per box, 12 boxes per case, 2 autos per hobby box, and on average 22 Prizm parallels. So Prizm is shiny parallels, whether they're green, silver, whatever they are, friggin' brown, blue, orange, pink, aqua,
Stratosphere, Memisphere.
Oh man,
Galactosphere.
They'll start coming up with new colors soon.
I love it.
So yeah, find the returning champion signatures that feature UFC's champions showing off their UFC gold. Collect a roster of stellar rookies appearing in their first official UFC trading card release. That's something that I'll be interested to see how far down the pecking order they go. Because not for anything, they didn't really do a good job in getting rookies last season. They obviously threw rookie cards on some guys that were just coming up the ranks. And although they're not really, in terms of UFC, they're not really rookies. But I'll just be interested to see how that plays out this season, whether they start going, into the prelim cards. They should be trying to get some of these guys, get some of their first UFC cards, even if they don't get autos of them, but put their first, base and parallels in there, that sort of stuff. I'll be interested to see how far they go down. Look for new inserts, bonus machines, and Prizm flashback. And yeah, this is just a little preview of what they got. They've got Color Blast in this Prizm. There's the champion, obviously got the golds in there, the mojos and so on.
Big boy.
There he is. Looks like they've got the flashback Prizm in there. So that's obviously the flashback Prizm set. They've extended that over to UFC. So that's pretty standard across what they do. So feel free to check that out. That's on the Panini blog, and suss it out. I'm pretty hyped for this. I'll see how we go. I mean, it's interesting because they're already announcing Prizm, 2022, and they're still releasing UFC 2021 product. So
it's what should be coming up very soon. Source is a preview to WWE Prizm. Probably be getting that very shortly, which would be pretty cool to cover that on this show. I can't wait to get some Rock Prizm cards and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I actually can't wait.
I don't know if we had a look at this last week, but
no, we didn't. That was actually on the list for the next thing to bring up.
So 2021 National Treasures NFL football. There you go. 8 cards per pack, 1 pack per box, 4 boxes per case. 3 autos, 3 mem cards, 1 base/insert, 1 base/insert parallel per hobby box on average. Most boxes will deliver extra auto and mem cards. That's their little,
There we go. T-Law.
Disclaimer there. Here's a few of the cards. Interesting stuff.
Chase.
Pretty cool. I'll be interested to see whether these are player worn or at all.
Trey Lance is in there. It's a nice Josh Allen. Yeah, it's really nice.
Beauty. Yeah, actually, we can cycle through here.
That's just going to go to the document now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. So we've got the base, we've got the rookie patch autos, we've got the crossover rookie patch autographs, the future, rookie signature field pass, colossal signatures, crossover rookie patch jewel, rookie first edition signature booklet. So you got the booklets in there as well. You got the 1-on-1 booklet, number 2 booklet, number 5 booklet, and the number 99 booklet as well. So interesting stuff. Design doesn't really change a lot, does it? National Treasures. It's pretty. Look, everyone knows how
stock standard.
I feel about this. It's. I just feel like immaculate and flawless is just better. But each to their own.
Yeah, it's personal opinion. I
Yeah.
follow the same opinion as you, to be honest. I prefer them, but it's still a nice product, and a lot of people really do look forward to national treasures every year in every sport. Last thing, very interesting thing, I saw this mug pop up this morning, Source, in the feed, and I said, we're going to have to bring his mug up on here. But Mint Collective, as you know, it is going to be sponsored by eBay. Panini is also sponsoring the show. We mentioned it last week. Our good friends at Cherry are going to be heading over there. Charlie, Grayson, and confirmed speaker as of this morning, which if you listen to the Magnificent Seven, you may or may not have got a little hint into it, but the great man, here he is. His mug popped up in my feed. He's a confirmed speaker there, which is fantastic for Grayson and the team at Cherry, because, they're going to be flying the banner over there for our Source. Over in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. MGM is notorious for boxing matches, so we might be able to get Grayson up against someone in a fight. I'd gladly promo it. We'll put him up against Jake Paul. It'd be very, very
People from eBay there. Obviously, Cardladder's involved.
Cardladder, yeah. Christina's going to be
a Slab. There you go. If you know who they are, the rappers.
We're going to have
Peter Pac-Man, Sabi Sosa.
Christina's going to be there.
Yeah.
Speaking as well. Who else we got? If you go down Source a bit more, there's a few other ones. Yeah, there's Christina there. Mark Zablell from Bleecker. PWCC.
Big Ken. Josh Luber.
There he is. Luber's
so
there.
It's a big, official sponsor, Panini. It's going to be a big event. I think they're really trying to really. I don't think there was a big event in Vegas, so I think that's what they've targeted Mint Collective to, set up like an annual event, or whatever it may be, quarterly event. I don't know what their plan is. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a big one. Unfortunately, we can't get over there. I think there's just too much qualms about travel still at the moment. But yeah, it looks like it is going to be. This is an interesting one, Dom. I actually found this little website before we move on, whatever it is, and I put the Logan Paul reveal video in there, and it said he made somewhere between 6,000 to 15,000 just off that video. Now I don't know how accurate that is with 4 million views, but yeah, this is just something that there's websites out there where you can put videos in there and work out the revenue that they've made, or even put their channel in there and work out how much money they've made over the period of time. So yeah, just pretty funny in a sense. I don't think he might not have made as much off YouTube that people think, but I think the publicity around it was really what has obviously sparked interest and kept him relevant, especially now Pokemon people are like following what he does religiously with Pokemon.
I know, 100% they are. Lucky last, do you have a Smoky today? No Smoky? I can end it on...
No, not really.
I'll end it on this then. So we've been saying for the last few weeks we haven't given it a Le Mans of the week, and everyone has asked us what are we doing with it. And what we're doing is there are going to be Le Mans of the week, but we're going to do just a bit of a change up, Le Mans of the month. And it could be multiple people. What we'll end up doing is if it is multiple people, we will shortlist them straight away to a couple and then put them in for the final running at the end of the year. Now, there's something very interesting that's going to happen this year, Source. All right? Because last year went through, Goldberg won it. Very good. Congratulations to him. He's going to be receiving the card. We'll send it to him with his certificate. There it is. That's going to be yours very soon, Goldie. But, Source, next year, so whoever wins it this year, the official Le Mans of the month for January to December will be immortalized next year, Source. They're going to be immortalized. And the winner will have a front cover opportunity. And I think what we're going to do, Source, is we're going to put a Le Mans of the year calendar out there. We're going to immortalize these people once and for all because they deserve to be immortalized. And you know what we'll do is we'll get one of those, those fireman calendars that the women love so much with the topless fireman. And we might just Photoshop the Lamont heads on there. And for Mr. January, Mr. February. And we're actually created. You can hang it up in your toilet like the old wogs used to do, mate.
And just look at it while you're taking a crap and say, this bloke's a lamb on.
So we'll do something a bit different, have a bit more fun with it. As you know, we love to have fun with the Lamont of the Week award. Obviously, immortalizing these people on a monthly basis. And if there really is a true Lamont, we will come out and do it weekly, and not for anything. We had a couple today, let's be honest, in Hobby Talk that we could definitely put up there. But Sauce, that's it. Another episode down. We will be back hopefully in the next few weeks with a full running of our program. Just finalizing a few things, getting that sorted. But until then, we'll definitely be back with this podcast next Wednesday. So on behalf of myself and the great man Sauce, keep living, loving, and breathing sports double coverage. Thank you for your constant support. We truly do appreciate it. Peace.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all spots. Double curve.